Welcome to the Jira Life, the place to find news, events, and interviews with the Atlassian community's movers and shakers. Join our hosts, Alex, Dr. Jira Ortiz, and Rodney, the Jira guy Nissen, as well as the Jira amigos in the peanut gallery, as we sit down and discuss the latest going on in the Atlassian ecosystem. Because we didn't choose the Jira Life, the Jira Life chose us.
Sponsored by Revise. I love that. Ronnie, you look a little different today.
I do. I got a little hair, shaved a little bit.
I can get used to this, Rodney.
We expect you in the peanut gallery, I imagine, any moment.
Yeah, Sarah, right. Thank you so much for joining me on being the co-host here. It's a lot of responsibility, so let's see how...
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the pressure because we all love Rodney so much. So thank you all
much
for
improved is the comments we're getting. In the chat, let me know if you just swap out Rodney for Sarah before this episode is over.
I think that's going to be one of your 5 questions at the end, right? Like, okay, who's here? And so, sorry, it's not the Monsters house. I've been saying it's my other favorite, like vampire show, though. What we do in the shadows. Okay, back to you, Alex.
Back to me. So, anyways, Sarah, thank you again so much for filling in. Ronnie's feeling a little bit under the weather, and we're just wanting to give him some time to recoup and get better for us so that he can be back next week. Although, will he be? Is next week still not teamed, right?
No, so you got one more week, and then
one more week with Ronnie. Okay, cool.
One more week. Well, depending on how he feels, anyway, he might say no, I don't want to do it, but then you get one more week of Sarah. So,
indeed.
I've had Sarah since Monday. She volunteered for our Jira duty that we do, and so she's gotten plenty of practice. She's got 3 hours of on-screen time here. So, but enough of Sarah.
No.
Let's talk about the main event here. Mr. Dan, what is this, your second time on here? Third time?
Third
time with me.
Remember, I think.
Third time with me, but
you.
Second time.
Possibly. You might be right.
Were you on any of the live streams with us?
No, because of the timings didn't work out. And
which part of 24 hours did timing not work out for you?
The part where I'm currently planning a wedding and the timings didn't work out with my future wife saying, I need your time. So
fair enough.
Yeah. I'm not going to annoy her.
I was just gonna say we literally had 24 hours to accommodate all time zones. So
no, it was purely a selfish reason.
Well, maybe I do need to get my passport so I can make my way over there to that side for a wedding.
Exactly.
I'm still working on that passport. Eventually, it's going to happen one day.
Yeah, well, especially if Atlassian continue to do more, not necessarily team, but just events abroad, it might be a really good opportunity for you to travel.
You've opened it. Dan, you just opened that can of worms with Alex and travel.
I know.
Something about being stuck in a plane for 12 hours just seems very unappealing to me. But I don't know. Y'all are built from a different breed. Before we kick things off, Dan, though, last time you and I spoke, which was this summer, right? I had told you I have a tab open from your blog that I had open from like October of last year, and I'm proud to say that 11 months later, I finally read it. I read through the article and I closed it out. And I just wanted to start this just to let you know that we can at least check that one off the bucket list. I read
which one was it?
The how to like clean up your Jira and like not to have too many custom.
Okay, yeah.
It was an oldie but a goodie. But then that led me through a whole new path of discovery into your blog. And before we get into the script too much here, I kind of just wanted to talk about in case you missed it, like how did you come up with those? Because I see you got a new channel.
Yeah, so I do. Where I am the async leader. I try and do more in-person events. This year I've obviously struggled because trying to plan something is taking up a lot more time than I want. The wedding is next week.
Oh, the wedding next week. Then what are you doing here?
My gosh, right?
Yeah. So I got
I definitely can't get a passport in time.
No, but she's not very happy with me. She sat next to me doing wedding stuff right now. And I'm sat here.
You know what?
But,
if you want to just delegate all the wedding activities, we'll just take care of it here on the Jira Life.
Oh, there we go. But no, so I go to the wedding over the weekend. I fly. I leave the wedding venue Monday. So Monday the 7th. I go home. I drop everything at home, and then I fly straight out to Barcelona for team. So she's not very happy with me.
You know, a happy wife is a happy life. It's something you might want to start engraving into your lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Or Mark put it, happy spouse, happy house. But
yes.
Oh, she's
I've never heard of that one, but I like that one. I like the happy spouse is a happy house.
Yeah, so it'll be fine. But yeah, no, because I do the 8 events. I wanted a place to record them. I wanted to put them out there because there are so many people that don't get to go, especially when they're in-person events, but they're still useful content. And I'm not like you guys. I wish I was, in terms of like having an actual screen that we could push these things constantly on, but it's still really good content. So when Fun Man approached me and said, can we do the next one as a video, because I really want to like talk about Team 24, I was like, oh, it's a perfect place to talk about it.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's ever since Monday Copy kind of went to the wayside, there's something missing, right? there's a hole in our lives, and we here on the Jira Life, we've tried to make up for it a little bit. Nowhere near as production quality as Nikki and Biro were, though, but still a very important job.
I know what you mean, because it's even well. So all 3 of us, and obviously, actually, well, pretty much everyone in the peanut gallery, all of us are pretty much tied very closely into as community leaders, or has got some sort of ear into what they're doing. But even we miss stuff to the point where I just sometimes don't even know what they're doing in terms of like the Atlassian Access now guard, and some things come through there. So having an ICYMI, having what was Monday Coffee, having the weekly updates here, there are so many really good ways of getting news that I just had no idea about. So yeah, it's definitely important.
I'm going to take over. Sorry, warned you. Because that's really one of my questions, right? There's the creators and the consumers, and I was reading through your blog and wondering what your main sources are, that you know, what are your go-tos that you can disseminate, and how do you even decide to disseminate, you know, like what is it that you're going to put out there? Because that's a struggle. It
is, and the trouble is that sometimes there are small updates, you know, they could be changing where a button lives, and that's, unless it's like a major thing, I just look at that and go, that's not news. That's not really something that's kind of going to catch eyes. Or, yeah, well, I mean, depending on the button.
Follow me in my little things. That's okay.
No, depending on the button. I mean, I guess if it's the big create button, then that's changing. Then that's slightly different.
They're moving that though, right? They're going to move it?
They wanted to change how the create issue was done. So they moved... Rather than a pop out, it comes down in the right hand corner.
I was not happy with that. I always bring it back.
Oh, really? Oh no, I prefer it because it means I can carry on working. Yeah.
No, I always expand it and move it and go back to where you were.
But it's those like things. So the first thing I do is I check out the community and I type in EAP. And so all I type in just to see what like new EAPs they may have said and I've not heard about. Again, sometimes I miss them and I just completely forget about them. I have a good couple of friends, shout out Avi from Atlassian, who often send me particular articles, which is always good. So they always keep me informed, especially around the automation stuff. But otherwise, I go into the product updates tab inside Guard and I scroll through a month's worth of updates.
Mm-hmm.
So you're dropping these once a month then?
Yeah, it'll be the start of the month, the previous month.
That's not confusing at all. Start of the month of the previous month.
So in September, I would have said about ICYMI for August.
There you go.
But it's so I get to like this week. Obviously this one's been slightly different because I did it with Andy, but I would get to this point this week and start going, crap, I haven't written it. I need to now think, like flick back through a month's worth of updates and find them all. But,
Well, I, for one, subscribed there, and I'm going to drop your videos here to the chat. So folks in the peanut gallery, you could be so kind to help support our comrade Dan, Dan over here and subscribe to his channel. I know I just subscribed, so I think I'm like number 4.
perfect.
Yep.
There you go. That's
Okay,
good.
let's mark what we're at now, and then we'll mark what we are at the end. And then
I've done that before.
And then he'll be 20,000 by the end of it, and he'll be.
Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine?
No. I know. And like, so if you had that kind of power, I should have talked to you 3 years ago.
Right.
Oh man, you would have saved me 3 years of my life.
Amazing.
I love her. She just waves a magic wand.
Exactly.
And then magic
You get 20,000. You get 20,000.
Had I known that was a secret, I would have become your friend a long time ago, Sarah.
Right. I wish I had that power.
Amazing.
All right, Sarah, I'll let you kick it off with the script then.
Oh, well, I was just about to hand it over back to you, friend. But yeah, so, okay, fine. No, I will ask that first one because I love me some Appfire. So tell us about your new role at Appfire.
Yes. So last time Alex and I spoke, this was obviously our pre-recording.
You could have started, by the way, you could have led with that next time we ever do talk. This guy, we have a whole interview. And then he's like, oh, by the way, depending on when you're going to publish this, I'm no longer going to be wherever I'm at.
Right?
Yeah.
You could have just, we could have led with
I know,
that.
we had a full hour conversation, not much about Atlassian, and then was like, oh, by the way, I'm changing roles. So yeah, I am a solution architect. I work at Appfire. If you know Ed Gale, I am.
You love Ed Gale.
Yeah. So
barbecue within reach at all times.
I think I actually have his top somewhere in this room. I don't know. I always lose his top, even though they're one of the most comfiest tops I think I've ever got. Appfired like that.
We were also wondering what happens when they fire you.
Oh wow!
You've been
Let's not cross that bridge. I really don't. I really hope that.
You could be app hired and then app fired.
Exactly. There we go. App hired.
Oh, and yesterday we were talking about being app fired up. Like when you like right now, you should be in your. I'm getting app fired up.
See.
Do you have a fire theme for your wedding?
So good. Sorry.
You should have like a fire theme for your wedding. If it's not too late to derail the whole thing.
Just massively change it.
Yeah, we need that physical emoji. Look at.
This,
See,
okay, look, this is the keeper. I am liking your fiance right now so much.
I know. Dan's got his own personal producer over there, right?
Oh yeah.
She's like, I got this. I'm gonna give
I stick my
emojis.
hand. My wife and my kids are always watching the live stream, so I go, I'm thirsty, and I put my hand out, and water eventually makes it to my hand.
I was about to say a big shout out to Bex. The amount of times I'll be on calls and I'll just be like, oh, I've got a sore throat, and she'll just run off and get me a drink. So she's a big help.
Nice.
But so I'm solution architect. So I spend a lot of my time with particular customers, some of our top tier partners, kind of just talking about what Appfire need to do to help them and how we can help other partners, be better. So yeah,
that's awesome. I really like I know you before this role change, you were already like very in the Appfire community.
Yeah, so I was affiliated with Appfire for quite a while.
It just made natural sense because I know when I ran into you at Teams, you were at the Appfire booth the whole time.
Yeah.
Foreshadow.
Yeah. What took so long is the better question.
There was that one was it took a year, just over a year from first start conversation to signing of the contract. But
I got a job at Google. Yeah, I got a job at Google 2022, and that took 18 months to go through that.
Yeah, that's long.
So,
but it's yes, Bob, I am traveling as much as Ed.
See, this is why your fiance is not going to be happy with you.
No, she's not happy about that either. But so I'm really not doing great other the first husband time, but it'll be fine. I said that well, that was exactly that. I said especially there's quite a lot of places that we have coming up over the next 3-4 months. That, you know, when I rattled off the list to her, she was like, let's go there. And I was like, brilliant. Okay. At least you'll be happy because I'll pay for you to come along. So yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it works out, right? Like I have a friend, they're dinks. I'm assuming you guys are dinks as well right now. Keep it that way. Just being a dink
Although
and
I'm
traveling
sure. Come here.
Oh, who are we gonna see? Ah!
That won't fit in a carry-on right there.
No.
So this is our youngest one. She's just gone 1. Go on then, you can go back to bed now. But yeah, our dogs. What have you done now? Our 2 dogs love the fact that we just kind of, you know, have an easy life for them anyway.
Right.
Oh, I knocked my speaker down. Oh, whoops.
Again, just taking care of you back there.
I know.
That's amazing.
Well, that's cool. I'm excited for you, but yeah, better you than me. I will personally pay to not travel. That's where I'm at right now.
No, I love traveling. It's great fun. You get to see different cultures, meet different people.
It's great fun until your flight's canceled, until you miss a.
Did you see my LinkedIn? I was sat on the plane when they cancelled my flight.
You were in the plane and they canceled?
Yeah, I was sat on the plane. We were ready to take off, and then they came on and said, "Really sorry, the airline has cancelled the flight. You all got to get off the plane."
I saw your post with the baggage, watching the baggage go round and
4.5 hours I was waiting for my bag to come back, and it didn't come back.
Oh no. So Alex, there are downsides, but Dan, tell Alex the upsides of all of the traveling, right? Not just I love it, but what is it about it?
I know with America, obviously you've got so many different things that you can go see. So yes, in theory, you could see a lot of different lifestyles, but there are like people just live differently in so many countries, and it's so cool to go see. You know, when I've been to like Italy, and we've gone through like some of the mountain passes through Italy, then down into, you know, places like Naples, it's completely different from those couple of 100 miles. And then you could go to Monaco, where it's the rich of the rich, and it's like the top 1% in the world, and they just live a completely different lifestyle, and you can just see so many different things. And yeah, it's a great way to try different wine.
That is a bonus.
Oh man, maybe one day I'll get the traveling itch. Maybe once my kids get a little bit older.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I won't say the show that I was watching because it's a guilty pleasure, but there was a discussion about wine between Italy and France, and which one would you pick if you had to?
Oh, I'd probably pick Italian.
You got to save it for the for the Quizlet.
Sorry, that wasn't on the script. I'm making up my own now. That's not on the script.
I like that one.
But I was curious.
Cool. So go ahead, Sarah. You can keep going with the questions on the script.
Should I just, like, I'm obviously reading it, right? First timer. It's total first timer. I'm like a 1970s newsreader. Like, all I can do is read exactly what's on the teleprompter. But I am curious in this one as well, with some of the biggest challenges that you see organizations facing when implementing or scaling their Atlassian environments.
Yeah.
Without getting fired, of course.
Right.
That's always a challenge with the podcast.
No, so I think in some of my previous roles where I have kind of come in, or I've been hired effectively as like a dedicated Atlassian resource, some of the biggest things is the homegrown ecosystem. And that is usually really great when you're of a certain size, or your operations team are big enough and the company small enough that you can kind of manage that. But without a dedicated resource who know the platform well enough, it's very, because of how customizable certain things are, it's also very easy to then get into certain messes. And because it's not usually a priority, people don't think about system health checks, don't think about system optimization, don't think about, trying to do best practice education with users. And I think all those three things are very quick things that cause issues. So, no one runs a health check. So no one understands that 60% of configurations is not used. So you could just literally bin it and you'd be better. But no one does those things. So one of the first activities we always do, run a health check. And it's all those little things. So that's always a massive problem. But I think in terms of like scaling, it varies. One company that I worked for was in fintech. They were a great company, but then decided to go safe. That would not be a problem usually, but it was kind of half-assed done. It wasn't wholeheartedly. They kind of tried a few things, but really didn't want to do it. The dev teams didn't want to do it. So they were making changes, and then politics got in the way. And I think that's probably one of the biggest issues with scaling.
So I was going to ask you a follow-up on that, right? So if it's people, process, and tools, where do you see the biggest challenges?
People usually.
Right.
No, so it's the trouble is that not to sound totally insane, but you've got people that have been at the company, have really, really long tenures, and are so usually, I'm stereotyping, but usually so stuck in their ways that they're like, don't want to do it anymore. Right? This is my way. You're not going to change me, and that's always a massive problem. Exactly. The culture definitely is strategy for breakfast. But the whole point is like they're so stuck in their ways they don't want to change. Then you've got the middle ground, which usually are going like, okay, that's fine, whatever. I might not agree with every aspect, but we can make the change. That's fine. And then you've got the people that just don't have a clue, and they'll just do what you kind of tell them. And I think as long as you can kind of not try and beat them with the stick, because that never works either. Don't try and beat someone with a stick. You've got to sit down and just try and say, like, every time they raise a challenge, try and have an answer for it. Try and walk them through all the reasons why things are better. And I think that helps.
Yeah, I always like to, I don't know if I've actually done it yet, but some advice I got once, was about going and finding the person who's most resistant to that change, right? That's the person you have to win over. And if you can win them over, the rest is easy, because they're going to be the ones out there being your biggest critics,
exactly.
Right?
Find your advocates. And if you get it really... Go on.
Sorry, I thought you were done, but I jumped in.
I was just going to say is find your advocates, because if you can get yourself a really good a team around you that are going to support and spread the good message, then it becomes. And this is also even if you're doing things like migrations, get your advocate team, because it makes your life so much easier.
But the alternative is flipping the carrots and sticks, right? Like, lead with the stick.
I imagine sometimes you need a bit of a stick, and you need to say, tough, you're doing it. But I definitely do think that sometimes the carrot first, try and help get them on side before kind of getting the manager to say, tough, will probably put you in a much better light, put the project in a much better light, and you'll probably have better success.
I feel like I'm going to ask a bit of a risky question here.
Answer it out. Beep.
But I think about it as a little bit of a generational challenge too. I am much older than you, and so you have folks who come from a period and era, right, where we wish we were given more carrots and fewer beatings with sticks, right? So it's actually kind of difficult sometimes. I think we just. Sometimes there's this okay, just tell us how it is, and then we're going to follow. And then there's generations, where, real improvements in that have come, right? And the ability to relate to people and talk to people and what it means to be on teams and working together and leadership and so forth. And so they're going to have different motivations potentially, or different things that motivate
absolutely.
them, right? And then navigating that whole, throughout all those generations can be super
in most
challenging.
Companies. I mean, Bob said it perfectly, which is you'll have 4 generations. You'll have people that are starting their career, people that are retiring, some people may be starting families or getting their first home in that kind of early onset in their career. So they're going to have different motivations than people who have been in the job, 10, 20 years, but not close to retirement. They're all going to be different.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to retire.
No,
You're getting ready to retire?
Definitely not.
I can't.
I saw the movie We Bought a Zoo, and like that's my whole MO now.
That's a good movie. I like that movie.
I want to make enough money, go get myself a nice little house out in the prairie, and don't even.
You're gonna buy yourself a zoo.
I don't know about a zoo, but I would like some acres of land and maybe a horse or two, and just never even see Jira ever again in my life.
Now I have to bring up, my favorite thing is a show called Escape to the Country. I don't know if you know it, Dan. It's a UK show.
Yeah, I think I recognize the name.
It's probably my age also, but it's all about, people who want to go out and live in small towns throughout the UK. And like, that's a total dream for me. So I feel you there, Alex.
Is it sad though, Sarah, to say that like St. Louis or at least St. Charles is the small town for me? Like that's my retirement from the hustle and bustle of LA.
Yeah. And being somebody who lives here, it's not small. It's
very small compared to LA.
But by comparison. I want to ask another follow-up question though, like in terms of, coming in and being like, okay, people, we're going to clean up here at Atlassian, right? We're probably going to onboard more teams. We're going to be a little bit more prescriptive in a lot of times with what's going on. Could you pick one thing that you wish people really understood about using the Atlassian products that could like win them over, or that you think is important? Like is there a key thing that people could understand that could help them? I can't answer that question myself. So I realize.
Okay. So I have one of the biggest problems that I think a lot of teams, and this is more orientated to business teams because those are the ones that I tend to have more struggle with, because when you're a slightly more technical team, the understanding of like having certain processes or certain things in place tend to make a bit more sense. Not to say that business teams don't have it, but trying to then visualize it and you stick a board up there with 5 columns because that's what they said that they need, and they start going, I don't know what to do. So just the idea of, that's kind of like why I actually liked the work management when you get the list view. I was just saying, just get used to that. Just get used to the idea of it's okay to bash business teams. I like that one. But yeah, the whole point is it's okay to just start really small and don't try and overcome every single problem that you're ever going to do, because it's not going to work. So let's just start really simple and just get used to creating tickets, like creating those issues for the first time, and like writing, what are you doing today? This is what I'm going to try and do today. This is what I'm going to try and move forward today, and getting used to that idea. Then you can say, okay, well, we're now creating every ticket, like issues for everything that we're doing, but we now need better reporting. Okay, so when a thing's going to be due, when a thing's going to start to be prioritized, and just try and tackle it like that. And eventually the level of maturity goes up enough, but I think people try and bite off way too much too quickly.
Yeah, my eyes kind of went like that because I'm like, that's me. Anybody who works with me knows I want to do everything, and you always have to go.
Every team wants to do everything, automate tasks away, because who doesn't? Who wants to do something that you could literally give to automation for Jira, or what will become Rovo and things like that to do? That's brilliant. But starting small means that you'll have a much higher chance of success. So
I always tell people you can't. It's really, really hard to boil the ocean. Very, very hard. But a cup of water, you can scoop a cup any day and boil that.
I can't remember what planet's made of water, but I'm like, that's what I always want to boil, and I'm like totally aware of it. So I have to just bring it back. But I'm like, damn it, I want to go boil things.
But sometimes I know that I don't know, naiveness helps. Isn't that the whole concept behind an OKR too? That you like so far above and beyond?
Yeah, it's just sometimes you need to like every business needs a vision, because if you don't have a vision, you're standing still. So I like the
You're
idea
walking
of saying,
backwards.
like, well, exactly, right? We need somewhat of saying, like, we want to be all the way over there. There you go. You can see my arm now. I want to be over there, but I don't know how to get there. So you then put a plan in place to get there, and it's those like nice thoughts to do so. But
I think the best analogy that I've seen is like a ladder, right? And if you have a big giant ladder, you have a step at the bottom and a step all the way at the top, it's really hard to get to that step. But if you have like a ladder with a bunch of incremental steps, then you can get there quickly.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's really, really important to try and do is to just break it down. It's business teams are usually ones that you do struggle with more, because they maybe, they've got the preconception of what Jira is, therefore they don't want to pick it up. But just trying to say, don't write something in Microsoft Word, put it in Confluence. That way teams can help collaborate on it much easier. Yeah, exactly. Blows their mind.
Have you ever had an engagement where they just absolutely hated Jira? And like you had to convince them?
Yeah, it was the stick approach, where the business said you're doing it, and they were like, nope. So they put up every fight they could. They didn't want to do it.
Excel FTW.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, we don't need to track tasks. We know what people are doing. I was like, yeah, good for you, but the business doesn't.
Right. Yeah.
I was like,
it's interesting how
helps zero people.
Yeah, how micro sometimes. I've seen, just for full disclosure, I've seen somebody using that plotter paper from like engineering or architecture diagram, print out Excel sheets, like the sheet, like the size of a whiteboard. I was like, that is massive. But then everybody can see your Excel sheet. Yeah, I gotta ask. I gotta ask them. Well, I got you here, and the missus in the back. How in the world is she hearing us? Because you have the headphones.
She's got her own headphones in. She's nothing, darling. Nothing. Yeah, she's got her own headphones in. So yeah, it's all good.
I was like, how in the world is she like sticking hands up, thumbs up?
Well, she was reacting to what Dan was saying and not us per se.
Maybe
so,
she was. I think
that
sometimes she's just got incredibly good hearing or selective hearing is more what I think. But she just hears what she wants to hear.
It's selective reacting, not selective hearing. It's selective reacting. We hear it all.
Heard of that, but we gotta
and then we have to also, right? We have to choose what we react to.
That could be a term that we can apply to the Atlassian, like to this conversation of rolling out Jiras. Like you got selective reactors here.
Exactly.
And Excel will always trump any tool, by the way.
What's that?
Excel will always trump any tool.
Ever. Which is why personally, the list view to me has been just critical, because literally every time I work with somebody, how can I make it look like Excel? How can I export this into Excel, and can I go manipulate it and import it back in? And you're just like, you can, yes. And for some people that works, but thankfully now with list view and all the improvements there.
Yeah. My biggest thing is, and it applies, it's not just an Atlassian thing, it's the application worldwide issue, which is every product has their use case, but don't try and use something where it's not going to work.
Except Excel. Excel works in every scenario for every situation.
But it's not scalable.
It doesn't matter.
It's not scalable. No, but that is literally a business problem.
No, it doesn't matter, because I still to this day have
Excel.
I have Excel files that are like version final, version final, version final for real this time, final.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget those days.
So JXL. We just acquired JXL actually.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
I just acquired them.
I gotta ask you, since you're talking about acquisitions, did Appfire acquire you, or did they hire you?
They hired me.
Then why does your logo say part of Appfire?
Because I'm part of Appfire.
That means that they have acquired you.
What part isn't clear about that, Alex? He's part of Appfire.
No, so it's that is in theory I could just remove that and just say, well, like I'm an employee of, but the whole point is like Appfire pays my salary, but any blogs on those are not written for Appfire's benefit. They're written for my benefit. Because I want to talk about the things that I want.
That's kind of what I was asking, because when I saw that on your logo, I was like, wait, did they get more than just Dan?
So it's just me. I was hired it was a lengthy discussion, but that's for another time. But it was yeah. So I got onboarded, and then I was like, look, but I still want to talk as a creator. We still have to have a voice, and the last thing I want to do is have that biased so much to one side. So I still want to keep somewhat agnostic. So saying that I'm part of Appfire, it's a full disclosure, but it's not like restricting my entire view in terms of how I see things, because no company is also perfect, right? We do a great job of what we do.
It's perfect, by the way.
Yeah, Jake sounds good. It was a great acquisition. I'm not going to lie. It was a really good acquisition. But yeah, it's that type of thing. I'm part of Appfire, full disclosure, but my blogs are my blogs.
Yeah, I like that. I was just I saw it's a tiny text I was zooming into to see what I was reading.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah. In fairness, it's tiny for a reason.
You gotta get a magnify. Reminds me of the Santa Claus when the claws in the
yes, in like that white border. Yes,
yeah, all the way around.
Yeah,
like all views expressed by Dan Toombs are just Dan Toombs. You gotta do that around your whole logo.
Yeah,
like black text on the black background. That's what you gotta do.
Yeah, yeah, or very dark gray, so it's almost impossible to see, but it's technically still there.
Yes.
It's all there.
Yes, it's in 1 point font, but yes,
Yeah.
we've got that in there.
All right, we got a couple more questions. I wanna kind of skip around a little bit because I know we only have like 20 minutes left, but I've been scratching to get to this question, or itching to get to this question, which is now I'm going to be scratching it. There's I guess
scratching the edge.
There's an order of operations for this, but what are you going to be doing in a couple of weeks after the wedding? So you said you're going to be somewhere with Corazon.
Yeah, so we are obviously Team 24 Europe, right around the corner. So go straight to there. We've packed our schedule as much as possible. Rodney, that is a great question, and you will have that answered in 2 weeks when you talk to me about it. But yeah, no, so it's literally Rodney and I are doing it all again. It's a follow-up from our last one in Vegas, but we're kind of going around. We've got a jam-packed schedule at Barcelona. I am then off on some well-deserved break, and then come November, I'm on the road again. So I've got Germany, France, Czech Republic, I think. So yeah, we're going around.
So what does it feel like to be on a stage and do a talk of your skill?
It's I used to be I wind back. So I've been in the Atlassian ecosystem 9 years. The first 4.5 of those was a solution partner. And when you obviously, I had no degree, no kind of I knew technology, but that was because I was brought up around it, nothing more. And I didn't know what Jira was when I started. So I was brought in full, ran the apprenticeship, got up to speed as quick as I can. And they're like, great, run a demo. And I was nervous as hell. When you're trying out, I'm 20 odd at the time, it's really nerve-wracking. But the more you do it, the more comfortable you get, and you still get those the butterflies in your stomach. You still get the real heart racing moments, but at the first 30 seconds are the most crucial. And once you're through the first 30 seconds and you've calmed yourself down, it flows. And as long as you know your subject, which you should do because you're speaking about it, you'll be fine.
One would only hope, right?
Alex,
yeah,
just like taking one of the ACPs, you get you're nervous, you're prepared, you get through the first 30 seconds, and then you know your stuff. And
exactly right. You're very familiar with the tool, but I get it. The exam process, I never liked exams. Is why I didn't go to university. But you sit down and you go the first couple of questions. Oh, I don't know that answer. You have 30 seconds yourself. Great. Okay, you crack on. And you'll pass. You'll be fine. And you'll always have plenty of time to go back to them. Like ACPs, they are hard. They are worth the accreditation, but they're good.
And you got a few yourself, right?
Yeah, I do. I've got to get a few more still. I'm going for because kind of like the expert at the time. But yeah, I've still got to do a few more.
The quarterback expert. I'm hoping that they bring that back one day. Because
Yeah,
now I'm kind of like I want to get them. I do have the jacket, but just not the paper.
I was speaking to I used to work with her as well.
Wait, Sarah, you didn't know this? Wait, hold on.
This is worthless now. Worthless. Okay.
No, I am under
Just
strict.
handing them out.
Wait, no, wait. I am under strict conditions that I am not allowed to put on said jacket until I get the papers.
Yes. Okay.
Who told you that? Was that Rodney?
No, that was Joanna.
But you guys, he every night he puts it on and he's just like,
He does.
I sleep in that.
look at how good I look in this, and
I'm gonna do a
my
photo
love
shoot.
will be out.
I'm gonna do a photo shoot for my thumbnails because all my thumbnails are like really, really old, and I'm gonna make sure I get one with that one now.
All right, but yes, we will all have to figure. Once we find out what the new ace is, then we will all. Then we'll get our gang jackets, new gang jackets, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you?
But
do you know if you're coming to Anaheim next year?
Me? Yeah, I will be.
Okay.
I'll find a way.
So we're doing.
Even if Appfire don't tell me, I'm going.
You're like halfway there. We're doing a
Yeah.
flash mob. We're trying to do an Avengers flash mob. And so, what Avenger would you be? Hold up. Okay.
The fact that you're doing that is a brilliant idea.
Well, we're doing like a TJL, and then you're gonna have some sort of an Avenger assigned to you.
I'm gonna go with Ant-Man because Ant-Man's brilliant. Or, oh god, I think I would be something even stupider, which is like Rocket, because Rocket. Who doesn't like Rocket?
I like Rocket. Rocket's a cool one.
It took me actually a second to get there, and I'm like, oh yes, they are Avengers. I totally forgot.
They're the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, they are brilliant.
I gotta do
movies,
more
actually.
research.
You're gonna die, Sarah, if you try to do the quiz whiz and you don't know your Avengers trivia.
Well, I'm not going to try to do the quiz whiz. There's a easy solution here. I'm not going to die because I'm not going to do quiz whiz. Done.
Smart. Yeah,
See?
good. Hopefully it'll work for me too, because I do not plan on coming back for season 3.
What else are you itching to ask him?
No, dude, you go. Let's go back. Let's do. I just wanted to know. I wanted to make sure we got time for that one because, as he mentioned, right, our very own Rodney is going to be on stage with him there, and I was kind of curious, like, because we did like Rodney and myself, we did a creator one, but it was like small stuff, right, small stakes. But
yeah, our Vegas one was very busy. Actually, we packed that stage, which is quite, but it's nice. It's a great feeling. It's also having people turn up is one of the best feelings.
Oh my god!
Because people care about what you've got to say. So
with great power, though, great responsibility. That would be my.
Yeah, like, don't drink a lot. There's good advice. Don't drink a lot the day before.
I heard you're supposed to drink a lot of water before you take the stage, though.
Yeah, you should. We carry water with us. Yeah, because you don't want dry throat.
Yeah, you don't want to be coughing up a lung while you're in the middle of a talk.
See, all I'm thinking is, at what point do I get nervous and have to go to the bathroom?
Just let her ride, Sarah. Let her ride.
Again, Alex earlier, he's like, "What? You're not wearing diapers yet?" He legit said
I didn't
that.
mean that as like an age thing. I meant like literally as a IT personnel working all day long. You gotta have a diaper ready.
I haven't learned that secret yet. Okay, wait. Did you say? Because I want to know again. Remind the topic for Team 24 for Team Europe for you.
So we are doing not a repeat, but a continuation of our automation chat. Yeah, automation on tour. So it's limits to liberation, but we're discussing kind of what it means, how to scale, how to spot like weaknesses in automation, the current recent changes in automation about how things are going to work. Obviously, Rovo and AI coming around the corner. So there's some great topics. It's me, Rodney, and then Daryl Lee, who's from Roku. We're all taken to the stage in a panel.
Oh, that's going to be amazing. Can you leak that to me early, though?
You got to be there to see it.
Actually, the webinar, which was a somewhat repeat, we have live, so you can go watch the webinar. Actually, I think Alex, or was it Bob? One of you videoed it from Vegas.
Would have been Bob. I didn't even get a chance to go to that one.
Yeah.
Well,
Bob,
One of them's
I realized Bob has mine too as well, and I'm like, I have not posted my talks on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm sitting on these.
lazy.
I'm still. I had like a whole book of all the shots and videos.
Yeah, you
and
have a
everything.
book. It's the DevOps cookbook.
No. I had like I forgot what do they call it?
Go get it.
I have mine right here. So within reach.
It's right there. Mine's in another room. All right, grab mine.
Yeah.
I should have made that
the only
my background.
downside is Amazon like bent my book and destroyed it. Like,
Oh, we'll have to sign it to make it worth super valuable.
yeah, exactly. I told Ed as soon as I got it, and because I got this 2 days before I joined Appfire, that was when it came through, and I sent it. I was like, if can I pay you early to get like a sneak preview of like your stuff and stuff.
Well, thanks for purchasing. It means a lot. What was I going to tell you? Man, I lost my train of thought with this.
Excellent, because then I want to ask my question.
Go ahead. Ask it while hopefully.
Speaking automations, Rovo, and whatnot, that because I had just watched what you had done just with Alex, and there was a lot of the discussion on Rovo. And and talking about bringing it back to the idea of boiling the ocean and not trying to boil the ocean, but so where do you think people get started with Rovo, right? Because there's so much. There's so much that people could do.
Okay, so I think part of this actually comes from what I would consider is actually the admin's responsibility, not users, but it's about good education. So it'll be about like not necessarily like the ethics on AI. I'm not talking about like let's go down that rabbit hole, but like here's good examples. Here's the agents that we have access to within Rovo. Here's the right style of prompts you need to give it to get better results. These are the types of things that we, regardless of Rovo, but with AI in general, if your company has access to ChatGPT, we should be like having that kind of automation guild, which is saying, how can we get closer to 90, 95, 100% first time? ChatGPT right now cannot get us to 100%, but the idea is it's an enabler, not a replacer. So how can we enable ourselves to get to 100% quicker? And if that means like, okay, for example, I need ChatGPT to help me write an article on automation, right? I don't just say, go write me an article. I've got to suggest the tone, suggest research papers that I may want it to reference, suggest the type of specific topics that I want to call, say that I want. There's like, you've got to, the more things you can give it.
The prompt is very critical.
Yeah, exactly.
Very, very critical.
Yeah, I'm not saying that we don't review it. I'm saying like the better the prompt, and this all stems from good admins giving good education.
Yeah,
because if you say, go on.
I really like that you said that, because when we had a chance to speak with the product manager of Rovo, that was kind of one of my feedback items to her, which was like, this can't be like automation rules, right? Because automation rules are they're not that hard, but to the average person, they're very, very hard, right? And like, where do you get inspiration? They have this library, but like, I mean, we saw it last night, sir, right? Like you have like a starting thing, but it almost feels like, you guys ever see that Simpsons? I don't think it's the Simpsons, but there's this meme on the internet where it's like the homework assignment, the way the teacher describes the problem is like 2 + 2 = 4. But then by the time you have to do the homework, like by the time you actually have to do like the test, it's like an infinitely 10 times harder question that wasn't even covered during the class, right? So I feel like automation rules are like that, and Robo would be like that, right? I feel like the examples they'll give you are going to be like 2 + 2 = 4, but Robo can like end world hunger, or has a potential to. But like, how do you bridge those two? How do you go from 0 to 1,000?
That's what I mean. Is like, it starts with good education, telling it, and then once like the other thing is also it's like thinking giving Rovo, because obviously Rovo looks at your data, so that's the whole difference between something like ChatGPT and Rovo. So then making sure it's good data sources, right? If you've got 10 pages which are stale on your archiving policy and then one archiving policy, Rovo is not going to give you good results. So the whole point is then you have to think about the data it's reading from. How stale is it? How clear cut is it for the like people to understand, let alone the agent? And I think that's really important. And making sure that we can also do things like seamless integrations to things like SharePoint and Google and bring in other data sources. That's also important. But I guess one of the last things, which is once you've kind of started some like other thing, which is kind of AI apart, set up an automation guild. Get something in your company where you're sharing best practice. So important.
Yeah.
We used to have like brown bags and stuff like that, like or community practices. Those are super critical because even for us, right? I try to, for the teams that I work with, like I try to evangelize at least every other month. Like here's the newest drops, and it's nice to bring it full circle to the beginning of the conversation, right? Like there's just so many new things that are being dropped into the Atlassian ecosystem every day. That it's hard to stay on top of. Like you can now edit in line in a list, or you can edit in line in a backlog, or you can now link this to that, or like there's so many new things.
Then you just start following Dan Toombs, and in case you missed it, and then you'll have a lot of content that you can just easily reshare with folks.
Look at that. I like that one.
Subscribe back.
But it's the important thing. It's
okay, hang on.
Go
ahead.
We got you 3. We got you get more, folks. Let's get them to 10. 3 more people. There's 8 of you in here. Everybody go to the link.
I'm enjoying it. But yeah, no, that's what I would do. I think you just have to start small. Again, don't try and do too much, but the more upfront work you can do, the better chance you've got of success.
So Alex, how long do we have until the 5 questions?
Right now, it starts now.
But I've got one more.
Okay,
so have me and Dan back then, okay?
One more to get it in. I'll let you have it.
Well, because you said something really interesting, Dan. You said
for the record, you talk a lot more than Rodney, so I welcome it.
So you said the admin's responsibility, right, to train people on that. And that I really keyed into because that was one of the things that I wanted to explore and that has been explored a lot is what is the role of admin and what is the role of Atlassian administrator. And so
I think
riff on that, friend.
I think it's changed. When you roll back 10 years and the world of cloud was, I mean, even outside of Atlassian wasn't where we were. So the whole point of, an admin would usually be responsible for not only front end application and basic support, but they would be responsible for making sure server uptime was good, resources weren't being wasted, and all this, and patching and upgrades and all that kind of crap. Realistically, that role just isn't necessarily there anymore. You tend to have that split role into application administrators and architects, and then infrastructure architects who take care of that kind of system, because it's still vital when you're running DCs, but it tends to be much more focused of that kind of front end, back end kind of world, or certainly in my case. So I think in terms of what Atlassian admins are really kind of responsible for now is more about education, best practice, instance optimization, like scaling and strategy. It's not about keeping the lights on necessarily. As I know it kind of somewhat kind of conflicts, but the whole point is, we should be, yes, doing all the, adding custom field values and whatnot. But the whole point is we need to make sure that our service, the thing that the business pay me, is the best it can be.
And, so I come from the business. This is really my first IT kind of job. I say IT kind of job because it still feels funny for me to say I work in IT. And if you ask me the definition of what an administrator was, I would probably have something very different than what the admins really are doing. And I think businesses have a responsibility then if they to recognize that what that role really does, but then broadcast it out right to the other areas. And granted, not everybody knows what everybody else's role is and what they really do, but in roles that can be so impactful to the ways we work together, just start broadcasting that. Okay, I'm done. Thank you for that, Josh, too. Amen.
I'm getting a lot of Elon Musk vibes from Josh here with his actual smart summon. I love me making up some cool acronyms or I guess acronyms. All right, so the time has arrived. unfortunately,
It's
Sarah, since you are playing the role of Rodney, you get to go through the questions.
Oh, I do. Oh,
So,
I was unprepared. Good thing I have that screen up.
yeah,
Okay.
it's all you.
All right, here we go then, friend. If you could pick any fictional character to help you run your Atlassian system, who would it be and why?
Any fictional character ever.
Yeah, to help you.
Oh.
And I have to
Go
approve
on.
it.
Oh, you have to approve. Oh, okay. Now I've got to choose something that you might like. No, I would go with, because Marvel theme.
Right.
What's the
Ooh,
guy
the
with
damn
the
thing I can see.
thing
I
in
can see
his
smoke coming
yellow?
out of
And
him.
I know it's the name's escaping me.
Would it be Tony?
Yellow.
No, not
Tony's
Tony.
not
Although
yellow.
he would, but no, that would be very good. Tony would be a good one. But it's the guy with the yellow gem in his head.
Is it the cyborg guy?
No, it's
Vision?
Do you remember Vision?
I'm totally embarrassing myself now. Somebody says
Yeah.
Jarvis?
Jarvis
It was
doesn't have
because it
anything.
was,
Jarvis-
but Jarvis was what Vision
Vision.
was made from, because Jarvis was the AI that they put into the Vision's body, and then it
Yeah,
made the
Vision.
person.
Okay,
Is
so
that not
we-
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right. Maybe that should be multiple
Wrong,
choice.
wrong movie. Just kidding.
Because
I'll
man,
go with Vision. Vision was the one that was worthy to pick up Thor's hammer. So
yeah,
I do have
So-
homework.
he's
You guys-
gonna be someone that you can speak
there's like
to. so I
40
think
movies
great.
there. You better start watching.
I know.
You've seen
Christmas
all the TV shows
vacation.
and
Here I
movies,
come.
You got a lot of trivia to catch up on.
All right, friend. So let me see if I can do this. If
got it.
I was a one-armed person, how would you handcuff me?
Okay. What? You've broken me.
You gotta stop me from punching you.
I would handcuff you to me.
To me,
But
you might want to be
Because, like,
careful.
there
You're
you go,
getting
you-
married in a week, dude.
yeah, I better watch what I say. You can't run and you can't hurt me. So there you go.
Great. An anvil? I don't know. Yeah, I can't answer these. I'm just glad to be
Yeah, that
asking
was-
them. Be careful with this one.
I would have gone hand and ankle.
Yeah, I did think about that, but then I just like
I was
just-
I was
don't
between
know.
hand, ankle, or around a pole.
duct tape and bungee cords. I like Sean's style more.
But they have to be mobile, right? Like that's the challenge.
Not
Challenge.
exactly.
They
Take the
still
pole
have
with
to be
you.
mobile.
Just unscrew it. Stick it on the side of the car.
Although I guess, see, because I'm coming at this from the perspective of like law enforcement, you might be coming
Right.
at it from
That's
the perspective
exactly
of
where I was
serial
going
killer.
with
So serial killers, like, yeah, I am going to go with handcuff them to a pole so they can't leave, and I'm just like, well, no, I just need to subdue them.
Okay, you could have hooked them up to the door handle.
What?
The door handle
they
is
can
from
just-
the outside.
What door
No, door
handles do you
handles.
have?
Right?
Mine don't. Mine doesn't like. Mine's like special.
Just-
It doesn't.
So
Mine comes out this way, but it doesn't. It's all one piece.
yeah, Rodney sees, right? Like
Yeah,
we're reading into
absolutely.
these answers and perspectives. That's what we should do. Is like, and from what perspective are you going to handcuff
Let's
somebody?
just go to the next one.
Okay, I don't want to though. It's my least favorite one. But here we go, guys.
It's
It is
most
the
controversial
dreaded
one. The next one's the most
team
controversial.
Team or company managed?
Oh,
Project.
company managed.
What kind of projects?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, company all the way. Hate teams. Team managed projects are annoying.
Why do they exist? All
Yeah,
right.
that
Run
in
the
fairness,
business.
that's my like process and watching people and like just create due date and due date 2, and that just annoys me.
Right. And then what AI based tool have you used most recently? I feel like that should be a game. Like take the last food and the last AI business or
Oh, and
AI
spin up
based tool you
spin
use
up a
and put
name.
them together.
Okay, so I had fajitas and ChatGPT, so you got to make a superhero name out of that.
Nice. I feel like we could use that emoji kitchen to do that.
Mm.
And
But yeah,
then
no, so ChatGPT. I used it to. What did I use it to? I used it to help me write a project plan because I was being too lazy to do it.
God, see,
I was
that's
gonna say, don't pull a Google, man. Imagine like men now just writing having Gemini write their wedding vows for them.
I'm not gonna lie, it definitely helped. It didn't write them all, but it definitely helped.
But you saw that backlash in that commercial, right? About the girl for the Olympics. Did you see that commercial?
No.
There was a commercial that YouTube pushed out during the Olympics where I forget the exact details, but it was it was supposed to be a heartfelt, like warm letter of a guy talking to his daughter or something like that. Something emotional, right? Something that comes from the heart. And the commercial's like, here's how the dad used ChatGPT to write the letter.
Oh,
and I'm like, you don't have AI help you out with your feelings and emotions.
Yeah. No,
So,
I
yeah,
didn't
imagine
quite do
wedding-
it like that. I wrote the typical things that I should. I then asked it what was missing, and then I went and wrote those, and then I said
I would have asked it and rewrite this so that it guarantees to get tears out of the audience.
Oh no, I'm quite an emotional guy, so like I'm guaranteed to get something out.
Dude, my vow was, as far as I was able to get through, was I met you in college and then I teared up right away and that was the end of it. I didn't get through the whole thing. I was on stage for like 2 seconds. That's all I could do.
Alex is gonna make me cry again.
Twice in 1 week.
Cry, Minnie.
All right, we are completely out of time. So let's get to the last one and let's close her out.
Well, I feel like if you could have dinner with 3 historical figures, who would you choose and why? There is no time to answer that. If you could have dinner with Alex
Winston
or Rodney,
Churchill.
who would you choose and why?
Winston Churchill, of course.
Oh, that one I'm not doing. Winston Churchill is definitely one historical figure. This is going to be the sad bit. I'd like to have dinner with my granddad again, and then I don't know if that will.
Stop.
Great answer. So, Dan, thank you again for coming on.
Yeah. So one historical figure, one important figure, and then something else.
And something else.
So
And
now
then
we have to
ChatGPT.
end because I'm going to go cry again.
I made her cry last night. By the way, Sarah, I was thinking about it last night after our little episode where you are technically put me in coach as well. Because the very first time that you joined us was when we asked, hey, who wants to join us on this emergency stream when Jira went down? And you basically said, put me in, coach.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, but you joined us for this. Everybody has been on the Jira Life has been a put me in, coach.
Awesome.
All right. So, Dan, thank you so much again. Enjoy the wedding. We look forward to some pictures on the
Congratulations. I wish I had like big emojis to throw and everything. So excited for you guys.
No,
It's
thank you very much, both. Yeah.
and lovely, and AI will attend also and cry at your vows.
I would have done an Appfire themed wedding, by the way. With the number of apps that you have, like each table could have had an app.
Here.
Oh no, we've named our tables after the dogs. So you got an Appfire town flag?
I do. You know what? Here's what we're gonna say. It was an Ed Gale leave behind because he wants to come back to St. Louis. So he was trying to be all slick, like, I'm just gonna leave something behind. And it was this.
I need to go because I'm running low on sugar fire barbecue sauce. So
sorry, man. But yeah, no, thank you very much.
No, I'm running low. I need to go to St. Louis.
Dan's got to go plan a wedding.
Yeah, Dan, you got to go plan a wedding.
Let Dan go.
You take off. Dan, thank you so much. We just close it out. I don't know what to do. I don't close the show.
I don't either. I'm just gonna say cheers, mate.
Cheers. No, we got the Jira Life didn't choose us.
Oh, that's the thing we say. The Jira Life chose me. Sorry, should we try again?
We didn't choose the
Jira Life.
And we didn't choose the
Jira Life chose us.
Yeah, the
Jira Life chose us. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Thank you for listening to the Jira Life. Our hosts are Alex, Dr. Jira Ortiz, and Rodney, the Jira Guy, Nissen. You can find Alex on YouTube at 8Tech Tutorials, and Rodney's blog is found over at thejiraguy.com. Our producers are Robert King Bob Wen and Lina Ortiz. You can catch us live as we record this podcast every Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube at The Jira Life. Be sure to join us and our other Jira Amigos of the Peanut Gallery every week to ask your questions, let us know your comments, and just tell us what you're up to. But if you can't join us live,
you can still catch the replay over on YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell while you're watching. We're also available as a podcast over on Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you listen to it and think it deserves a rating, we would very much appreciate it, as it will help others discover the Jira Life. Because we didn't choose the Jira Life. The Jira Life chose us.